What is up, guys? Adrian here from Losh TV, and I want to welcome you, all of you, Horror Nights historians, back to the Hallow'd Past. Now, this episode is going to be different than the last ones that you've seen, and I know it's been gone for a while, but I promise we will bring more back very soon. However, I just wanted to test something out, and I also have a friend that wanted to do a collaborative project. Anyways, me and Storybook Amusements, if you guys haven't seen them, please go check them out. Great channel. They do great work. Today we're going to dive into one topic. Not a whole event, not a whole year of an event, not a whole decade of an event. We're going to dive into one particular thing. Today we're going to talk about Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho at Halloween Horror Nights, meaning anything from the Bates Motel, anything from Norma Bates, well, mother, and things of that nature. This is a two-part video, so I'm gonna have one part here, and then down below I'm going to link Storybook Amusements part, which is diving into the history of the Bates Motel in general at Universal, not so much the Halloween Horror Nights aspect of it. But with all of that being said, I'm going to let Storybook take it away with the beginning of this video. Go ahead, my friend.
Storybook Amusement here. Now let's go ahead and check into the Bates Motel, which played a role in the first annual Halloween Horror Nights in 1991. The event, then under the name Fright Nights, featured a haunted house and several attractions, including a stage show called Beetlejuice Graveyard Tours. This musical show took place in front of the standing Bates Motel set with the roadside neon sign lit and ready for patrons. The show starts with the Blues Brothers cruising in their car from the motel's rear. Calling out over their megaphone, they unexpectedly run out of gas on the motel's property. They get out of the car, ready to relax for the night. However, they don't have enough to cover a room. The Blues Brothers knock on the motel office's door and smooth talk their way into a deal. A room for the night in exchange for a live concert at the Bates Motel. Norman Bates, the welcoming and hospitable motel manager he is, agrees. While the Blues Brothers are settling in, Norman helps a hotel guest with her shower. But Norman's mother, of course, isn't too happy about this and gives Norman an ultimatum to get rid of the guests and the crowd watching. Fumbling through his words, Norman welcomes the crowd, and before dealing with his mother, introduces the crowd to the motel's tour guide, Beetlejuice, who energetically jumps out of an open grave. The pun-fueled Beetlejuice, monologuing in front of the graveyard of the stars, is interrupted by Mother, who makes an appearance at the motel's facade and promptly does what Mother does best when she sees a motel guest. Then, Beetlejuice raises a song-ready Elvis from his grave. Once the king leaves the graveyard, the Blues Brothers set up to put on a twisted show. Mother joins the backup dancers while the Blues Brothers perform their hits. After Soul Man, the show ends with an open grave exploding and the cast bowing at the finale.
Up next on our little Bates tour, we have the first time that the Bates Motel, or Psycho, was featured as a haunted house or haunted attraction at Halloween Horror Nights. And this was 1993 to 1994. We had the Psycho Path Maze. Just walking up to this and seeing the Bates Motel and the Bates residence up on the hill can add for that fear factor. No, not the show. Can add for the fear factor to let you know that, oh, I'm about to walk into Psycho. These dove into famous scenes that were in the Psycho films. And it's said that it actually had props from the movies. So you had props from Psycho 4, A New Beginning. Now, it wasn't just Psycho featured in a house individually at Horror Nights. No. From 1995 until 1998, we saw Psycho featured in 3 different houses, but they weren't Psycho. And it wasn't particularly Psycho, it was just Mother and Norman. So we saw them first in 1995. They were in Universal's House of Horrors. If you guys want a full story of that house, you guys can go check out my Hallow'd Past video on it, as well for the other 2 that I'm about to mention. I will also link that down below. I give a more description of the whole event and the house that was there as well. In 1997, we had Universal's Museum of Horrors, which also featured Norman and Mother, and/or Mother. And then finally in 1998, we had a sequel to the Museum of Horrors, which was the Chamber of Horrors, which was Universal's Museum of Horrors, Chamber of Horrors, and this also featured Norman. So, Storybook, let them know some more history.
As we continue on this journey, we find that after a 5-year absence as a standalone attraction, the Psycho franchise returned to Halloween Horror Nights in 1999. This was the first time at Halloween Horror Nights a Psycho maze was not located at the standing Bates Motel and house set, but instead was located in Soundstage 22. The maze, called Psycho Through the Mind of Norman Bates, was loosely based on the 1998 shot-for-shot Psycho remake. It started off in Fairvale Sanitarium, based in the same town the movie took place in. This location is said to be the precursor to the Shady Brook Asylum from Halloween Horror Nights' Psycho Scarepy franchise. In this sanitarium where Norman Bates was locked up, guests first walked through a clinical receptionist area occupied by a secretary at their desk. Guests then walked through a series of dark hallways entering Norman's mind. After a dim hallway with spinning walls and lights shining through small holes, the maze then led into an area that looked like the inside of a mind, featuring tentacles and a zombie-esque character. This led into another dark hallway, this one with plastic strips that hung from the ceiling for guests to walk through. Knives everywhere. This next room, called Sharp Memories, had spinning and reflective mirrors guised as oversized knives. As the room lit up with strobe effects, a character in a black bodysuit hid in the dark and popped out with a knife in hand, giving a silhouette effect. After passing through a room called the Victim's Corridor, guests walked into where no one should: Mother's Closet. Lined with stretched out racks of hanging dresses, this room had two zombie-like, knife-gripping Mother's characters who would surprise guests from behind the wardrobes. Rocking chairs and dresses floated above this dreamlike closet. Next was the Eyeball Chamber, that had around 2,000 floating eyes, haunting guests like Norman's peeping eye through the wall into the first room at the motel. This room had a black bodysuit character similar to the Sharp Memories room, however this time it was covered in eyeballs. After walking up a ramp, guests then entered the Carnage room. On the left of this room was a shower curtain with the ominous silhouette of Mother eager to pull the curtain back. On the right was a wall of running water, which is normally relaxing in the shower, but not when you're in the Bates Motel. Zombified Mother's characters emerged out of the water, swinging knives at passing guests. After a final right turn and up another ramp, guests walked into a steamy room full of blood-stained shower curtains. This finale featured various characters from the maze's previous rooms popping out from behind the curtains.
Now, as for Halloween Horror Nights Sweet 16, which is the next time we saw Norman Bates in a house, all the houses this year were either sequels or prequels to things that occurred in the past. For example, this house itself, Psycho, The Return of Norman Bates, Psycho Path, The Return of Norman Bates, was the predecessor to all three of the previous mazes that have been here. And it kind of not tied everything together, but kind of swapped everything that they've learned from those previous three mazes or houses and turned them into one big house. Now this was located in Sprung Tent 1 and had the Bates Motel as its facade. No, not the one that got demolished, but something that was a smaller scale portion of it. Essentially, this house was very similar to the house in 1999. Universal Creative really was able to give their own story in this and portray the characters the way they wanted to, which is sometimes difficult to do with an intellectual property, but they were able to do so here. The main difference between the 1999 house and the house from 2006 is that instead of being at the sanitarium, you're located at the Bates Motel. So essentially you're getting a sequel to that house in 1999, but it's more modern for a fresher audience.
As horror icons, the Bates family has been featured at Halloween Horror Nights in more than just houses and shows. Norman and Mother were included in 3 scare zones throughout the years. Their first was during Sweet 16 from 2006 in a scare zone called Horror Comes Home. Located in the Hollywood section of the park, Horror Comes Home was considered a walk down memory lane as you saw all kinds of figures from the event's history, including Eddie, Eelmouth, and yes, Norman Bates. The second scare zone to feature a Psycho character was the Horrorwood Drive-In from 2009. This was located outside Mel's Drive-In restaurant and featured a large movie screen that showed clips from various horror films. The characters, however, weren't only on the screen, they roamed the streets too. Some of the characters were the Strangers, Reagan, Frankenstein's monster, as well as Norma Bates. The third and so far final scare zone with the Bates family was All Night Die-In double featured during the event's 25th anniversary. This scare zone had 2 sets of characters, one group from modern movies along with a group from classic black black and white films. Mother was a part of the latter, joined by classic Universal monster icons.
Did you guys enjoy your stay in the Bates Motel? I know, I'm sorry that it ended so abruptly. But I had a great time here. I enjoyed giving Hallow'd Past in a different kind of manner, not just me behind a screen, but also me with someone else. So kind of giving you guys two people to speak the information. What did you guys think of this? Did you guys enjoy having Storybook Amusements here with us? Do you guys want to do me a favor and go check out Storybook Amusement's channel? Because he puts out great content and I strongly recommend you guys check him out. I'm just saying, please. With everything being said there, please don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it. Comment down below what you guys want me to do next with the Hallow'd Past. I have a video for the years planned still. Those will be coming out eventually. I just need to make time for myself. Just know that prior to editing this, it is my birthday, so that's the only reason I kind of got delayed making this one compared to the other videos I've put out. I've been preparing for my birthday and everything, so I'm sorry. Comment down below whatever you want to do, you know, whatever you want us to do. Subscribe if you already haven't done so. And with all of that being said, stay excellent, my dudes.